Hey guys, Derka here from Whataweeb. Just here with a little update video. There's been a lot of, not really update, a little discussion video on Genshin Impact, the 1.1, the schedule, and onward. It's going to be happening in the next couple of months, pretty much, that they briefly showed us recently. So, look, a lot of news about 1.1 has been flying around lately, with nerfs, etc. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to talk about leaks. I'm here to talk about something that literally seems to be the most official thing here. Remember that the Reddit is also Reddit is also run by MiHoYo staff. So this post has been up for 8 hours, and everyone else is showing like sources and stuff like that. This is a relatively accurate / good source of information, right? So high level, 1.1 is coming out November 11th. Their plan is to have a major release every 6 weeks. So 1.2 would be December 23rd, and 1.3 would be early February. That is their expected behavior. Maybe they speed it up, maybe they slow it down. We don't know. Maybe there's events in between. Maybe there's mini updates in between that kind of give us some stuff to do. We don't know. And that's kind of the issue. So this is the reason why this is more of a discussion video. Yeah, you got your information. November 11th is 1.1. Boom. You got that. There's a couple issues that they kind of need to address, which is resin gate, as people may be calling it. Being resin gated by content. The content being resin gated. So it's very hard for you to progress as with the resin gate. Even if you are a whale, you're still limited to X amount of refreshes a day. And it's arguable that resin is not worth, refreshing every day until you hit rank 35 or 40, where you unlock the dungeons where you can actually get good stuff. I'm personally more partial to waiting to 40. I am adventure rank 34 because that's when you're more not guaranteed, but more likely to get a 5-star accessory to my research. So right now, like that slog between 30 and 40 is pretty rough. It's pretty rough. The first couple levels aren't too bad. You can usually get away with, up to 34-ish from what I've noticed without too much trouble. By doing side quests, getting your oculi, etc. But after 34, it does seem to kind of rush down. And I know at 35, it's really slow because you don't even have that level quest you get at 34. So I'd really like to see some, potentially some small updates in between, just to give us a little bit of content, a little bit of stuff to do, work on, event, whatever it may be, while we wait for these updates. I'm okay with waiting 6 weeks for an update. I want to make that clear. I don't have a problem with the 6 weeks. This is a huge game. It's a very, beautiful game, and I get it takes time to get things right. Other games might be able to do 2 weeks, but that's like a 2D flat, unit, basic animations, boom, done. It's not the same here, right? It's not the same here. It's literally a 3D model. They can do 100 different actions. It's a lot different. So I get why 6 weeks. But the issue is that, 6 weeks is long, and if you don't have anything to do in between, it is a slog. But also, if the 6 weeks doesn't end up being worth it, if the stuff they release isn't, up to par, up to all this other stuff, it's rough. It'll be really rough. I don't think people will be too happy about that. If it's 6 weeks and we get like one story piece that people finish in a week or two, because chances are if you started the game within the first week, you will be caught up with the story by November 11th. There is very little doubt in my mind, if you are actually playing the game casually, every other day or something like that, you should be able to reach there if you're, if that's your goal. So that's just one part of the problem, I think. And then the other things that are a little concerning, not concerning, but that explain a little bit more, is if you scroll down, there's a full translation of the post. The actual source is here, but since I can't read, Chinese, I'm pretty sure it's in Chinese. It's not very helpful to me, but if it ever loads. But regardless, it's Riley over here has fully translated the whole post. So the biggest thing, people were asking about were hey, events, what I was just talking about, right? And they're look, under the circumstances that we currently are with our big launch and everything like that, we had a lot of problems. Right here, you'll see we encountered various problems, such as all kinds of stuck problems, attack, blah, 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 whatever, issues, bugs. It's a huge release. I get it. It makes sense. There, being a 3D world, there's things you can't account for. And there's probably certain modification that can happen. If you've seen Machine Gun Venti, you know what I'm talking about. So if they're focusing on the bug fixes, I respect that. I do. I think that's very important that they fix those up early on so they don't turn into crazy things later on. But it is a bit, it will be a bit rough on the current play, especially the people like me who play so much. I'm not like adventure rank 39 or 40, but I'm 34, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good for the time I've been playing. Pretty casually. So not casually, but pretty like, I haven't been refreshing resin and stuff like that. So that's not bad. But that what that means to me is that we're not going to get any like mini updates within at least this time frame, because they'll be focusing on bug fixes, which is important. But we won't get events. We won't get things to do on the side, because right now, once you hit adventure rank 30, you finish the story. What do, right? Like, you can get your Geoculi, you can get your Amenooculi, you can finish up your side quests, but that only gets you so far. That gets you to like, rank 33 or maybe even 34. But what do you do after that, right? Do you just farm every day? You farm chests every day? You definitely can. It's not necessarily the most fun thing in the world, but it's something to do. Especially with resin being so limited. You can only farm an elite boss, like 3 times off one like stack of resin or whatever it's called. That's not necessarily the best experience for the user. Especially like, when you start leveling characters, and let's say you do roll and you get a 5-star. Like recently I was leveling up Razor to use him, and then I rolled Kaching. And I was like, oh wow, this sucks because I don't have any EXP for Kaching. Like Razor was like level 50, Kaching's now level like 30 whatever, but like I just don't have EXP, and without looking for new chests or doing the ley lines for EXP, there's not really another way for me to get it unless I find all the like secret stuff all around the map. And doing the ley line to get EXP is not necessarily ideal, especially like, it's not really worth it in my opinion. But it may be just because I need the EXP to level up my 5-star unit. And that's why that's kind of rough. So like if they can at least fix some of these problems in 1.1, like 1.1, like I'm okay with this 1 month being a slog. But if 1.1 can address the resin issue, I'm not even talking about the gacha, like it being a terrible rate, whatever. That's whatever. I signed up for that. There's pity. I'm okay with it. But not being able to play the game, like play for progression really, because of like being gated by an in-game currency that refreshes way too slowly is really hard. It's really hard. I know that this is going to hit people, especially as they get to my point in the game. They finish the story, they don't have anything to do, they just log in, do their commissions, and then they'll come back at 1.1, and then they'll be either disappointed or very happy because of all the updates they made. If they don't do, like, if 1.1 isn't as big as they expect, they'll be disappointed, and that could lead to a lot more drop-off than might be happening in the next couple of weeks. But if 1.1 is huge, covers everything, I think people will be okay with understanding. They'll get used to waiting those 6 weeks because they get all that content. But we can't assume either or until MiHoYo tells us like what's coming, what to expect in 1.1. If we got like some sort of update on, hey, 1.1 is going to include not just the story, but like all this other stuff, or like a high level summary, I think people would be a lot better off. But I don't want to spend too much time really talking about this. That's just my opinions on the matter. If you just wanted to know when the next update is, it is on November 11th, as you see there. And then every 6 weeks afterwards. But, the rest of the conversation was on things that we should expect in version 1.1. So, let me know if you guys kind of agree with that, like my rant / my, my opinions on this matter. Once again, this is all my opinions, this is what I think. But let me know in the comment section below what you think they should do to kind of get people more engaged on a daily basis after they hit adventure rank 30. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you think it's fine. Maybe you think it's just the fault of us, people like me, just speed running through the content and consuming all the content too fast. That's a perfectly valid criticism too. I'll let you guys go. This has been Derka, Whataweeb, and sayonara.